In Europe, they've considered this nanomaterial that's in foods to be unsafe. It has not been banned, but it's deemed unsafe or no longer safe. Okay, that already raises a little bit of an alarm. It doesn't mean that we need to run away, run the other direction, but it does mean that, wait a minute, this could be a really bad ingredient. And as we have more nanotechnology and more nanoparticulation, and we're able to look at these quote unquote nanomaterials like titanium dioxide is, we can understand the safety and where we should be concerned. So titanium dioxide is what gives food products a shinier sort of feel. Like if you think of like a Mentos, it's white and shiny, or you think of like a glaze that's gonna be on like a Little Debbie's cake or something. It's that shiny white sort of look. Now there's a graph on the screen right now that shows you like the kinds of things that have high amounts of titanium dioxide versus lower amounts, right? Now when you start looking at the research and what the EU was looking at in 2021, they found after you consume titanium dioxide, it doesn't accumulate too much in your body, but it's a cumulative thing. It does accumulate, and it can accumulate in the lungs, it can accumulate in the liver, in other organs, but a lot of the stuff that we have to talk about is how it is a genotoxin. So we're gonna dive into the research here. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to educate you. I try to take everything with a little bit of a grain of titanium dioxide, if you will. There's a link below for 30% off your grocery order through Thrive Market. So if you want to get foods that probably don't have these additives, in this case, Thrive Market puts their best foot forward to vet out the foods that are better for you in that particular sense. So that is a 30% off discount link off your entire grocery order for Thrive Market. You get your groceries delivered to your doorstep, super easy. And I think the best thing is you just get to sit at home and you can look, figure out exactly what you want. You don't have to go to the grocery store, and you save some cash in the meantime by using that link down below. Plus you get a $50 free gift by using my link in the description. So big thank you to Thrive Market for the continual sponsorship on this channel to make this content possible. That link is below. So let's first talk about something that's very important. A lot of the foods that have titanium dioxide in it are geared towards children. So you're talking smaller bodies, developing microbiomes, everything is developing, and we are being bombarded with stuff that is questionable at best, okay? As we get older, the microbiome obviously plays a role and becomes more personalized, but we don't need to worry about that too much. Now, there was a study that was published in the Frontiers of Nutrition that broke down what titanium dioxide does. It doesn't directly affect the microbiome. What it does is actually kind of scary. It creates what's called a biofilm, okay? So when they took a look at this, they found a 3-week physiological dose of titanium dioxide did not affect the microbiome directly, but it did start to form a scary biofilm. Now, a biofilm is like a force field that bacteria can create around itself. Now, what happens with this is sometimes good, sometimes bad, bacteria will form this biofilm, and that makes it impenetrable. So the natural ecosystem gets thrown way off. Now, I want you to imagine a forest that has wolves and squirrels in it. And I want you to imagine that all of a sudden the squirrels had a force field built around them, and the wolves could no longer eat the squirrels. Well, now you have just this ridiculous overpopulation of squirrels, and the wolves are getting starved off. So you see how the biofilm is almost worse than a direct effect on the microbiome, because you are coming around backdoor fashion and disrupting the microbiome. Now, these studies have also indicated that it may make the microbiome more carcinogenic. Now, that's a bold statement, but what that essentially means is that when the microbiome shifts radically, there are some links between that and cancers. Now, the piece that I really want to be focusing on is a study that was published in the journal Radiation and Oncology. And this is where Europe is saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't really see this as safe. We're not banning it just yet, we're going to investigate it more, but this might be what is called a genotoxin. And that means that it is affecting genes, it's affecting gene expression, it's affecting gene transcription, it's affecting these things, and may actually promote mutations that we wouldn't want to occur. Now, if you're one of the unlucky few that is going to be negatively affected by these mutations quickly, you can see how that could potentially result in things like cancer, right? So of course it's a risk, and that is why Radiation and Oncology actually dubbed it a, quote, possible carcinogenic. It's one of those things where, do we wait until it's a full-blown carcinogen? Or do we say, okay, the evidence is starting to point us in that direction. This could be one of the worst things that's in our food right now. Do we want to take that risk? or do we wait for more to come out? Okay, I've done my own fair share of probably fear-mongering in the past, but this is one of those ingredients where I don't think I'd want to give it to my kids, right? Another piece, there was a study that was published in Archives of Toxicology that gave rats a human equivalent dose. Okay, they didn't give them like some of these like artificial sweetener tests and things like that. They give rats like crazy amounts. This was a human equivalent dose, and they found that almost immediately there was an increase in reactive oxygen species and there was an increase in intestinal inflammation that remained chronic. Okay, so it wasn't just acute inflammation in the gut, it was chronic inflammation within the gut. Now what happens here when you have an inflamed gut is then you have what are called lipopolysaccharides that may leak into the bloodstream, causing an inflammatory response within the body systemically, not just in the gut. So the three main reasons why titanium dioxide, this nanomaterial, is under investigation is going to be the reactive oxygen species component. Okay, it's highly oxidative. Okay, it's going to be, of course, the microbiome piece and how it affects that biofilm that makes the gut bacteria just completely out of whack, okay? And then there is, of course, the piece of the gene toxicology, okay, the genotoxicity, where it's toxic to our DNA, to our strands, to everything that plays a role in who we are as people. So at the end of the day, if it has titanium dioxide in it, it's on you, but it's something that I'm gonna avoid, and I felt that it was worth doing a video. I'll see you tomorrow.